So, have you ever started a new role as a business analyst? Or maybe you're just trying to break into the field right now, and you immediately spot this massive inefficiency in how a company operates? It's frustrating, right? Well, the most common, painful mistake junior BAs and career switchers make is jumping straight to a software solution before they actually understand the underlying process. Welcome to This Explainer. I'm your host, and today we're going through a highly practical, no-nonsense masterclass on business process management, or BPM. By the end of this, you're going to know exactly how to design, analyze, and improve business processes so you can stop guessing and start solving real operational bottlenecks.
Okay, let's take a quick look at our agenda for today. We'll be covering the cost of random processes, blueprint of an organization, mapping the order process, real-world applications, the BPM project lifecycle, and finally, key takeaways and discussion.
Section 1. The cost of random processes.
Before we can fix a system, we really have to understand the massive problem that plagues almost every organization out there. Think about this for a second. Why do chaotic business processes absolutely destroy profits? Well, simply put, doing business requires business processes, and executing those processes requires resources, whether we're talking about time, manpower, or materials. When these processes are random, they act like a bucket with a giant hole in it. They literally just bleed cash.
And that brings us to why BPM matters so much. Anytime you use a resource, it increases your costs and naturally lowers your profits. But the real danger is that out in the real world, processes are often random, uncertain, and constantly fluctuating. If managers don't rigorously design and periodically redesign these workflows, costs are going to soar out of control. You have to truly understand the process to be able to improve it. And while information technology is a fantastic tool in business process management, remember, it's just a tool to manage the process. It's definitely not a substitute for having a good process in the first place.
So, the absolutely crucial point here is that every single process can be improved to either lower costs, add more value, or ideally, do both. The primary task of a manager is to continuously optimize the order, time, and manner of tasks in a process to maximize those profits. Continuous improvement is the ultimate goal here.
Section 2. Blueprint of an organization.
Think of the architecture of a business exactly like a house blueprint. If we look at a typical wholesaler, right at the very top, acting as the roof, you've got strategic management. So things like logistics, suppliers, warehouse, and demand management. Then in the middle, the actual living space of the house, you have your core processes: direct procurement, sales, distribution, marketing, and service. And finally, acting as the foundational floorboards holding the whole thing up, you have your support processes, which includes finance, IT, and HR.
Now, you might notice that something like distribution acts as a specific process group. A process group is really just a collection of specific related operations grouped within those strategic, core, or support levels. Think about it. To fix a broken pipe in a house, you need to know exactly which room you're standing in, right? Well, in business analysis, you identify the process group first so you know exactly where in the organizational architecture your project is taking place.
Section 3. Mapping the order process.
Okay, now that we know which room we're in, let's look at a concrete end-to-end example. Take an order processing process, modeled using BPMN, which stands for Business Process Model and Notation. Notice how it's divided into horizontal lanes? We call these swim lanes. You have a seller with two main human departments: warehouse and distribution, and sales. But notice the top lane isn't a person at all. It's the ERP system. This completely captures how a single process crosses different human departments and utilizes IT systems all at the exact same time. Let's break that down into plain language. First, a purchase order is received, which triggers the ERP system to check stock availability. Then, we hit a decision point. If items aren't in stock, the sales team rejects the order and the whole process ends. But if items are in stock, sales confirms the order. Now this is where it gets really cool. The process splits simultaneously. While the warehouse staff physically ships the goods, the sales team emits the invoice. Finally, once both of those parallel tracks finish up, sales archives the fulfilled order. See how that works? You can see the exact sequence, who performs the action, and the entire flow of data.
Section 4. Real-world applications.
You know, process modeling isn't just academic theory. It's what you'll be doing day in and day out as a BA, and it applies to absolutely everything.
Whether you're analyzing the checkout process of a local supermarket to reduce wait times, mapping out how a coffee shop serves its morning rush, streamlining a retail business's customer care, or even organizing a university student union event. Honestly, anytime there is a sequence of actions designed to deliver value, BPM methodologies are going to apply.
Section 5. The BPM Project Lifecycle. Now we're going to translate all of these concepts into a real-world, actionable project lifecycle. If you were handed a group assignment to fix a business, here is exactly how you'd execute it. A comprehensive project journey basically happens in 3 distinct phases. First up is identification and modeling, where you figure out what the process is and draw it out. Phase 2 is discovery and analysis, where you dig into how it's actually performing versus how it should perform. And finally, Phase 3 is improvement, where you actually implement those critical changes.
So step by step, you'd first build the process architecture, that house blueprint we looked at earlier. Then you select one specific process and model it using BPMN. Step 3, you determine criteria to measure its performance. Step 4, you detect the inefficiencies and analyze their root causes. And finally, Step 5, you propose improvement solutions along with estimated costs and the expected results.
I really want to pause on Step 3 for a second because this is absolutely vital. You cannot just guess what's wrong with a process. It doesn't work. You have to measure it using rigorous performance metrics. We're talking about tracking productivity, efficiency, quality, and lead time. You need to calculate the actual costs associated with waiting, check material availability, and look at how customization affects the workflow. Having this data is literally the only way to detect those random uncertainties we talked about at the very beginning.
Section 6, Key Takeaways and Discussion. We've covered a tremendous amount of ground today. So here are your top 3 actionable takeaways to help you become an invaluable asset to any organization. 1. Design. You now know you must model simple processes using BPMN to clearly show who does what and how data flows. 2. Analyze. Don't rely on gut feelings. Use precise performance metrics to detect inefficiencies. And 3. Improve. Always be continually evaluating and modifying processes to minimize costs and maximize value. That is the true core of business process management. But I want to leave you with a final thought-provoking question directly related to the human element of this job. When you finally propose your brilliant cost-saving solutions, how will you identify the drivers for change and manage the inevitable resistance from the people who actually have to execute it? Because you can have the absolute perfect BPMN model, but if the staff resists the change, the whole project fails. I'd really love to hear your strategies for change management, so drop your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Keep analyzing, keep improving, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.